is a video to step you through the SCE classification process. We're going to set up a temporary package for one subscriber. This is really important so that you can differentiate your production traffic from your test traffic. If you don't do this, it can be like looking for a needle in a haystack. We will enable transaction usage RDRs for that package, so it generates the data we need. We'll access some content that will go through the SCE. We'll capture the RDRs, the raw data records, with the CSV adapter, and then we'll do a little bit of analysis of that data, and I'll show you a few tricks on how to do that. So let's get started. Okay, so open up your SCOBV console and retrieve your current service configuration. That should only take a moment. Right, we've got a test package on there already from a previous attempt, so I'm just going to quickly delete that so I can walk you through the process. So we want to create a package. We'll call it test 1. You can leave all the rules empty because we're just trying to see how the traffic is categorized. So we need to enable the RDRs. So let's do that. Okay, so if we go to transaction usage RDRs, we can see in this particular configuration they're not turned on. Some customers will use them, but generally we try and turn them on if we're not using them, just for the testing purposes, and then we can disable them again. There is a CPU overhead associated with it, so if you don't need them, we'd recommend you give them off. Okay, that's it. So now we just need to apply the service configuration. Right, so with the magic of video, that went a lot quicker than it usually would. So now we need to set up a test subscriber. So let's do that. We want to manage subscribers. Now keep in mind this is a test environment. Oh, let's try that again. Okay, this is a test environment, so we don't have any subscribers here. You may already have a lot of subscribers. You might even introduce them in a different way. So whatever your method is, we just want to set up a test subscriber. So let's just call this guy test 1. And we want to put them in the test package that we created. Fantastic. Okay, so I've opened up a session to the client, and let's just serve to a random website, and that's come up. Fantastic. Now that's generated the traffic that we need that we can analyze. Okay, so I've jumped over to the collection manager here. You'll see I'm logged in the default directory. So we want to change to the CSV adapters directory. Now in here you'll notice that the directories have interesting names. They relate to the RDR name. So this particular number here relates to transaction usage RDRs. And in here we already have a few CSV files. And let's just have a look. If we have a look at the latest one, right, that's what it looks like. And I'll go through a couple of these fields with you, but the simplest trick at this point is to copy the file to a location where you can open it in a spreadsheet. So let's do that. Now what I do, and I'll put a link to this on the page as well, is I have all of the headers in a file already, and then we can just import our data delimit it with commas. Okay, so you'll notice there's a few things here. The IP address is in decimal format, so it's a 10 base instead of your standard IP address that you'd expect. You can convert that on the internet. You'll notice for our traffic we can see things like the port, the access string, and so on. Now the useful field is this one here, the protocol signature. We can actually take that value, and if we open up the SCE console, we click on the classification tab here, and you can search, and you'll see that that is HTTP traffic. And that trick will help you find out what the protocol is very quickly. Now there's one last thing I want to show you, and you can have a look at the link here. I want to show you the SCE reference guide. So if we just open that up, you'll notice that this guide provides all sorts of information about raw data records, database tables. It's quite useful. If we look at the raw data records and we go to the transactional usage RDRs, which is the ones we're using, you'll notice there's the number I was referring to earlier. That's the RDR tag. We also get a description of each of the fields. Now, interestingly, there's 2 extra fields on the front that it doesn't talk about. Now those fields which I've added into the CSV file here that you can use, it's the time in milliseconds since the epoch, so since 1970, and the RDR type. So by default, they'll be included in the front of your file. So the only other problem you're likely to run into is if your CSV files aren't being populated. If that's the case, it means you've probably got something non-standard. So if you're running into any problems there, open a case and we'll sort you out. Right? Thank you for your time.